episode of 804 Real Estate Live. I'm Kevin Randisi, the principal broker, owner of 804 Real Estate, filling in tonight for Bethany, and this is our show. We're coming to you probably noticed that the set's a little bit different this week than what we've had in months past. Our studio got a little bit flooded over the weekend here from the heavy rains. So it's still drying out, and it's probably going to take at least about a week or so for it to dry out. But we're back here in the main office shooting from our old set. So this is where we're at tonight. Tonight we have Chris DiRenzo here with House Probe Inspections. Welcome, Chris, to the show.
Thank you.
For those who haven't seen the show before, the format's simple. First, we're going to talk a little bit with Chris. Then we're going to add a twist to the show. We're actually going to do some aspects of a home inspection tonight in our second part of the show. And then the third part, we're going to open it up to you, the audience, to ask Chris questions live. So this is going to be a different aspect of our show. We're excited about it. Stay tuned to see it. You can ask your questions live by chatting them in the chat section of this video. So go ahead and type your questions in below, and we will get to them in the third part of the show. Now we're going to go to the show. So Chris, welcome. Thank you for coming on the show tonight, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad to be here. I appreciate the time that you've given me. My name is Chris DiRenzo. I've taken over House Probe Inspections from my dad. My dad, David DiRenzo, had been doing the business for about 12 years or so, and I've got a building material background as well as my dad. As a kid, we were always doing construction type work. Everybody in the family was a contractor or something like that. I've actually worked for some of the lumber companies in Petersburg and Richmond. I worked for Roper Brothers, Moores. I actually did some commercial work for East Coast Commercial, which was a part of Lumber City, and then I've actually been to some of the window manufacturers and seen how they actually build windows. I've built exterior doors, built interior doors, put windows and doors together, a lot of construction work like that. I've actually drawn plans, building material plans, do takeoffs, a lot of information like that. I actually went to an engineering school down in Valdosta, Georgia, for the I-beam, the wood I-beam floors, the silent floors, and actually got to use a software that when there was a change in a set of plans and they needed a beam, I would actually do the sizing and print that paper that would be attached to a set of plans. Okay. That way, the builder didn't have to go back to an architect. He could just come to me and I would draw that, that up for him and put that in there. So, I've been around building materials for a long time. I actually worked at Home Depot for, quite a few years while I was going to college, and taught a lot of the, how to install windows and things like that. But product knowledge has really been good to me. Understanding, how a house goes together and the features. I also went to Richmond Tech and took heating and air conditioning for a couple of years as well. So I've got a
well-rounded background.
Yeah. Then I'm a veteran too. I did 4 years in the service and on an aircraft carrier. Okay. My hearing's a little shot, but I'm like to mention that I'm always.
Taking over the business, you took it over from your father. Right. Your father, Dave DiRenzo, just recently retired. How's your dad enjoying retirement?
He says he retired. He retired from this, but he actually started another business because he it's just something in us where we just can't sit still. We got to be moving all the time, be involved in something. So he started another business, but it's a home-based business.
What's he doing now?
Well, he's got a laser machine, and he's doing a lot of arts and crafts kind of things. But the laser is huge. I mean, it's the size of a car. I mean, yeah, right. So he's been busy with that, and he's actually doing some signs and things like that, because he's been doing some signs for some realtors and stuff as well. So, you know, it's been pretty good for him. I mean, he's almost ready to, you know, really get his line out there for what he's doing. But you know, I kind of miss, you know, not being able to hang out with him. You know, that was one of the perks of it. You know, was for the past couple of years. You know, with me helping him, you know, was we went together on all these inspections, and you know, so you know, for me to do it now, you know, the only thing I can do now is call him, and then, you know, and then he laughs at me. You know, the other day I had a snake go in the crawl space right in front of me, so you know, he's like, you know, I don't miss those days.
No, and that's a testament to you guys working out there. I mean, as far as crawling in the crawl space, I was at one of our foreclosures, and one of the buyers went in the crawl space, and he said he found some snake skin, and I was like, well, I'll just hang out here right by the crawl space door. So
we see that all the time as the snake skins. You know, the thing is you've got to do it, and if you don't think about it, and you just going. Here's my thing: is it's important to get under there and see what's under the house, because that's somebody else's investment. You know? That is very true.
That is very true.
And you've got to do it. And I've had some close calls. I scared myself the other day. I had a black zip tie from a heating and air conditioning duct that came down and slapped me in the neck when I was under the crawl space. I was like, don't freak out, don't freak out.
So speaking of home inspections, many people, they're purchasing a home is going to be the most important purchase that they make in their entire lifetime. Why is it vitally important for somebody to get a home inspection? You don't have to get a home inspection, but it's always highly recommended. So why is it highly recommended?
Oh goodness, you want to know what you're getting into. I mean, it's such an investment. This is one, you know, buying a house is one of the biggest things that you'll do in your lifetime. And you want to know, you want to have that security of knowing that that somebody has gone through there looking out for your best interest. Because, you know, I know that when I live in a certain place, I kind of get complacent about the things that I see every day, and so I don't notice them. So a seller's not going to tell you everything because they don't really think about it, you know, and then again, they may not want to tell you certain things, but with a home inspection, we kind of go through, we have a set program, the way we go through the home, and we check everything. We start outside and work our way around several times. And then, you know, when we make it inside, we have a set, you know, program that we follow to make sure that we don't miss anything. And then we'll come back and hit it again sometimes just to make sure.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the thing is if I see something here, you know, I'm always thinking about, okay, well, what's the effect of it here? And then, you know, so I may go to that next step, and then, but I come back and finish up going forward.
When we come back, we're actually going to have Chris here look at certain aspects of a house, which is actually our office, but if anybody's been to our office before, they know that it's shaped like a house here. And he's going to show us certain aspects of what he looks for in a home inspection. So don't go away. We're going to adjust the camera, and we'll be right back.
I've bought and sold several properties using the team over at 804 Real Estate. They're dependable, reliable, and they're a wealth of knowledge. For properties that I buy, they help recommend properties to me that might be good investment opportunities. And for properties that I sell, they usually sell them in a week or less for me. 804 Real Estate, I highly recommend them for your next real estate transaction.
Thinking of buying or selling your next home? Call us at 804-477-8700. 804 Real Estate, your local residential real estate brokerage.
Hi, this is Bethany Rolando, realtor with 804 Real Estate. Tune into our show, 804 Real Estate Live, every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. on CW Richmond.
All right, hello everyone. We are back Kevin Randisi here, principal broker, owner of 804 Real Estate. We are here live. We're getting fancy on our show here and adding this extra segment so that you, the viewers, can see what goes on during a home inspection. We've got Chris DiRenzo here with House Probe Inspections, and Chris is going to show us a couple of things that he tests for in a home inspection. We're inside a kitchen here, which is actually in our office, and he's going to show us some of the things. So go ahead, Chris, show us a few things that you do.
Okay. Well, like I said, water is such an issue. We're always testing the plumbing, we're testing the water, making sure everything's working, and make sure it's not leaking underneath the underneath here, under the sink. And then as far as the dishwasher, we turn on more than just one thing because we want to see. Because like, look, if you're out in the county, you're on a well, you've got an expansion tank. Once we put that load on there, the expansion tank may start, sputtering, and having problems with it. So we want to see that it can carry, 2 or 3, items that were, faucets or, from there. And so anyway, like I said, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and
go ahead.
This on, get that going. We test all the, cabinets. All we're doing really with the cabinets is just opening them and make sure that they're, that they're functioning. We're not digging through and plundering them or anything like that. But we definitely want to make sure that they're okay and working. Oh, I like that one though. As far as the microwave, I have a just a little tester here. I put this inside of here, and put it on start. Oh, you got it set. I got to clear all this off first.
Well, we found one defect so far.
No, there it goes. All right, see, I don't know if you saw it was red, turned red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess you guys had lost power, so you had to clear the microwave first.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway,
how about the stove? We crank on all the burners and whatnot.
yeah, I turn on all the burners, and then I've got a thermal camera here.
Show the audience that camera. I think that's really cool.
And you can see them lighting up right there. So they're working, and so we'll turn those off.
And same thing with the oven too. Is that
And
correct?
we do the oven as well. We let that go, and then I'll check that to make sure you can see that's working as well. So we not only do we test it in bake, but we also test it in broil as well to make sure it's working. But one thing we do is put up against here and see if there's a anti-tip device, which you're missing.
Yes. Yeah. I'm missing. And why is the anti-tip device important?
Because the little kids like to get on here and dive off the dive.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Yeah.
Kids will pull on that, and what they'll do is they'll pull the whole thing over on top of them. So
Yeah,
it's a safety
yeah.
feature, and that's. I mean, not only are we testing for defects, we're testing for safety issues as well. Our report doesn't just list all these things that are negatives. It tells you things that are right too.
Yeah.
I mean, the report is all inclusive of everything. So like I said, with the microwave, we got that going and it's working. I'll check the vent on it, make sure that that's working. Tell whether or not it's venting outside or inside. Recirculating.
Some of the microwaves actually vent. I think we had put those
Out the top.
Out the top.
Yeah.
Is that okay versus vent outside or?
Well, venting outside is a whole lot better.
I agree.
Getting that out of there, because what you're doing, all you're doing is running into a filter through here that that's trapping that up. So.
How about the electrical tester that you have in your hand?
Well, that here, what I do is I put that in here. I look and see. Okay, I got 2 orange lights right here on the end. Everything's good.
So 2 orange lights means it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Now trip.
I just tripped your GFCI. What the GFCI does is, since you're right here at the sink, say you had your computer sitting up here and you knocked it in the water, what it's doing is it's reading that current coming in on both sides of the receptacle. And so if you got your hands in here, you're going to get a bump, but it's not going to cook you. So that's the main thing with that, is you want that thing to break that circuit so that you don't get shot.
Absolutely.
So like I said, it's safety. It's a lot of safety things. And some houses don't have those.
Yeah.
So we make a recommendation because it wasn't part of any requirement at
Correct.
the time. I'm not going to say that word.
Let's talk about that for a quick minute.
Okay.
And talk about what was code when the house was built versus what is code today. Typically, many of the houses that you will go and purchase, the purchase contract will state that the inspection can be for items that are up to certain code when the house was built. So, like if it was built in like the 1950s and things like GFCIs were
Right, we're not part of that.
We're not required, then the seller's not really obligated to bring it up to current code.
No.
But
Unless they're doing some type of remodeling,
Correct.
where they're taking everything out and they're putting in a new service panel and stuff like that. Then certain things have to be because they have to have a building permit. But if it's so that should be at that time. But home inspectors don't really try to get involved with the code because it's different in every locality too. And that's the issue.
And one more thing. Can you show us as far as what you can do with that infrared gun as far as the readings that you can get out of the, what we're looking at here is the air conditioning vents. So you take a reading out of there, and then you take a reading out of the return.
Right. And
what's a good,
and then that's your T difference, and what you're doing is you're determining what where you are. So 16 to 20 degrees is adequate.
Yeah.
Anything below 16 degrees, and 16 degrees is kind of where we draw the line. 16, 17. We recommend that the heat and air gets serviced.
Yeah.
Anything above that, is working fine. It's adequate.
Yeah.
But we see a lot of systems that are well above it, and they can be old. I've seen a system the other day. I was out. It was 94 was a year on the unit, and it was putting out like 26 degrees difference. And I was like, wow, this thing is
26 degrees.
And it was an older system. But somebody had taken care of it, and they had service on it every year. And then I went to one that was only 3 years old that was only putting out 15 degrees. So it just, you never know. But you would think that the one that is only 3 years old would be putting out great numbers.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to have an inspection, even on a newer home. But we've gone to homes that were brand new, and you see a lot of things that say, because like I said, you've got the contractor and you've got subs that come in, and the plumber will come in and look at this, and the heating and air guy will do this, and they try to make their stuff work underneath the house. And sometimes they may or may not notch a board or a floor joist incorrectly, and so we look at that to make sure that it's done right.
Yeah.
Because you need to know.
So what we're going to do is, when we come back, we're going to turn the camera back around. We're going to ask Chris your live questions. So go ahead, it's not too late. Type them in the chat section below, and we're going to ask them live. You ready to answer some live questions?
Sure.
Awesome, sounds good. Well, don't go away, we'll be right back.
I've bought and sold several properties using the team over at 804 Real Estate. They're dependable, reliable, and they're a wealth of knowledge. For properties that I buy, they help recommend properties to me that might be good investment opportunities. And for properties that I sell, they usually sell them in a week or less for me. 804 Real Estate, I highly recommend them for your next real estate transaction.
Thinking of buying or selling your next home? Call us at 804-477-8700. 804 Real Estate, your local residential real estate brokerage.
Hi, this is Bethany Rolando, realtor with 804 Real Estate. Tune into our show, 804 Real Estate Live, every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. on CW Richmond.
Hello everyone, we are back. Kevin Randuzzi here, principal broker, owner of 804 Real Estate, and we are here on 804 Real Estate Live. We're here at the third part of our show. I hope you enjoyed that nice little interactive portion that we were able to bring you tonight. We are going to go ahead and ask your questions live right now. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start scrolling through. I'm gonna look at the other computer here and scroll to some of the questions here. All right. The first question comes to us from Carolyn Brand. Thank you, Carolyn, for the question. And she asks, what is the worst problem with a house?
Oh, geez. The worst problem. I wouldn't really say there's a worst problem. Every house, has its own unique, issues, and it depends on the previous owner, how they were able to take care of the home. If the home was left, vacant for a while and not winterized, there's a lot of different things. But like I was saying, Kevin, everything can be fixed. We've seen houses that were, the roofs were deteriorated and, the walls started to rot and crumble. But like I said, all that stuff can be fixed. So, I mean, it's really hard to say the worst problem with a home.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive part of a home? Probably the foundation. I mean, if you start having some real foundation issues, that can be costly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a couple houses that have had some foundation issues, and it's foundation equals money.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to the next question. Pat Green asked the question: if I'm a current homeowner and disputing my insurance rate, will an inspection help to lower the rates?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
No. As far as your rates go, I mean, that's something you really need to take up with your insurance person.
Yeah.
And make sure that they have everything on their, I guess, what is it, a declaration page that
Correct.
has all of that stuff
Yeah.
on there, and that they have everything that you're saying that you want, and vice versa.
We had Megan Baber with Atkinson Insurance on our show a couple of months ago. Be sure to check the archives out on that regarding homeowners insurance, because there's a lot of really good, useful information on that particular episode. Another question: do you check every outlet inside the home and out? How do you test the plumbing, like for toilets and city water and sewer versus well and septic? A lot of components in that question.
Okay. All right. As far as electrical outlets, if I can get my arm in there, I'm going to test it. If I got to get on my hands and knees and scooch in there, I will. Sometimes the homeowner will have so much stuff.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's really hard for us to get to, and part of the the home inspectors guidelines. We don't have to inspect every one of them. We need to inspect a fair number of them and make sure that they're right. I try to inspect them all. If I'm going through a house and the house is vacant, I'm going to hit every one of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit every one of your outlets. I'm going to hit every one of your windows, and I'm going to test every one of your doors inside. I don't miss anything on that. If it's, like I said, if you've got a lot of things, some things we just don't want to get too close to, because like if it's a TV sitting up there, on something, you don't want to bump that and have that thing come over on you.
Yeah.
So, we're real careful about that, but we test everything else around it. Now, as far as, and the rest of the question was as far as the difference between the plumbing, when we go through the house for city, we're looking at where the water line's coming in at, where the shutoff is, and we do the same thing for the well, but the well is going to have an expansion tank on that, and we're looking at that as well, to make sure that thing, we're checking the date on it, for one, because, everything's got a useful life on it, so we'll let you know that, hey, this thing has, been in the house for 15 years, it's got a useful life of 12 to 15, you may need to, be saving some money for a replacement. But like I said, one of the things we do, we'll take the top off and just touch to see if there's any moisture coming through on the line, because they're under pressure. There's a bladder inside, and if there's any moisture that comes through at that valve, then chances are it's in rough shape. But like I said, we'll check to make sure that the water's not surging in the house. That's something that we do, anyway. Like I said, I got your dishwasher running over there. I had your, water at the sink running, and if I could have got the washing machine going, I'd have had that going too.
Yeah.
I run a lot of water through that, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen when we're out there.
Yeah. Trim everything as hard as you can do it.
Yeah.
So.
As far as going under the house, we look at all the plumbing blackouts under there, where all the lines come through underneath the house, and looking for leaks and things like that, and as well.
Good.
Pull that insulation back and see what's in there.
Good information. Good information. Another question: the tools that you use for detection, are they available for homeowners? Is it cheaper to have you do the work? I think the tools that we're talking about, like the infrared camera.
Well,
do you offer yearly contracts for inspections? Do you recommend that people maybe have an inspection on their house maybe once a year or once every couple of years? Things change.
As far as that goes, if you're usually the home inspection is in a real estate transaction, whether you're having it done ahead of time before you put the house on the market, which I recommend. I think that's a great step. Is if you're planning to sell your home to go ahead and have the inspection done, because a lot of times you know what you've got, and instead of somebody else coming back at you saying this was wrong and this was wrong and this is wrong, you already have an idea of what to expect. And to me, I like to know, what's going on.
Well, not only that, it gives you a chance to fix it.
Right.
Versus having it come up, because if you have so many things come up, you're going to spook a buyer, especially with a first-time home buyer.
Right.
If you've got an inspection that's 3 or 4 pages long with massive amounts of defects, buyers are going to have second thoughts about this house, and it's just going to make the negotiation process much more difficult. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tonight.
I appreciate it.
Thank you all for all the questions you asked. A lot of them, hopefully you all got a lot of really good, useful information. Next week, we're going to be broadcasting on Tuesday night. I'll be, one of my friends got me tickets to go watch the Monday Night Raw at the Richmond Coliseum, so I'll be watching that next Monday night, and we'll come back with another show of 804 Real Estate Live Tuesday night, and obviously it'll be Wednesday morning on the CW Richmond. So look forward to seeing everybody next Tuesday night, and be sure to tune in. Be sure to share, like this video, and share it with your friends and family. Until next week, take care of yourself, and we'll see you then.